Coming up on Mountain News this morning, people participating in cockfighting could soon see an increased penalty as new legislation makes its way through the state's Congress. And 2 eastern Kentucky counties have found success in partnering up for a drug task force.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Good morning, I'm Olivia Calfee. We are just a few minutes past 5:30 and we finally made it to Friday. Now first, let's check in with meteorologist Tim Drawbridge for a look at your forecast this morning.
And the emphasis is on finally, right, Olivia? Everybody, good Friday morning to you. A lot of clouds across the region as we wake up. And yes, temperatures are in the mid-40s. Kind of been a theme the last few weeks, the 50-50 weekend, and it seems like we got unsettled weather heading into the weekend. Then we improved things on Sunday. Guess what's going to happen again? But next week, not only looking dry for a good part of the week, but temperatures will moderate and get back to where I know where a lot of you would like to see them. Temps right now, mid and upper 40s. A lot of us close to 50 as you make your way from London, Williamsburg over into Pulaski and Wayne counties. All right, the pinpoint Doppler radar, clear air mode, so it's picking up on a lot of stuff. We transition radar sources. This is not in the clear air mode, so west of Lexington down toward Columbia and west of Monticello, we do find some showers, and this moisture will continue to track not only in from the southwest and the northeast, but slowly nudge to the east. So we'll end up seeing a scattered shower threat develop gradually west to east this morning into the afternoon, mid-50s, so we're not really going to be going anywhere over the next couple of hours. In the travel forecast, maybe the threat of a shower west of Jackson this morning. We all deal with scattered showers heading through the afternoon on the drive home. First Alert 7-day forecast as we spring ahead through the weekend in just a few moments. Olivia?
Tim, thank you. Now to a developing story in Letcher County where a death investigation is underway. State police say troopers and detectives were at a scene on Dinah Blair Road. Police say one person is dead, but no other information has been released yet. We will keep you updated as we learn more on WYMT.com. A Wise County, Virginia grand jury indicted an Appalachia man with murder after a deadly 2023 fire. Virginia State Police charged 30-year-old Curtis D. Holbrook with murder and arson. Officials said in February 2023, crews responded to a fire in the 300 block of Callahan Drive in Appalachia. Once the fire was put out, officials found the body of 65-year-old Michael D. Woodward inside the home. Officials said Woodward lived at the home. Kentucky lawmakers may vote on a bill this year to increase the penalties for people who participate in cockfighting. The bill was set to be heard in a committee Thursday morning, but it was delayed. Senate Bill 243 would make cockfighting a felony. It's now a misdemeanor in Kentucky. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on the proposed legislation.
Engaging in cockfighting is already a crime in Kentucky, but if Senate Bill 243 becomes law, it will change from a misdemeanor to a felony.
We believe that 243 will not only create a fear factor among these cockfighters, it will give law enforcement a greater incentive to make the arrests.
Joseph Grove with Animal Wellness Action says the current penalties are not stopping the practice.
And we have many undercover videos of recent cockfights in more rural parts of the state. So we know that they are happening.
Seeing that, I am going to go ahead and call us to order.
The bill to increase penalties was to be heard in the Senate Judiciary Committee Thursday, but was taken off the agenda.
But I don't think the votes are there. At the end of the day, I guess there's just support for that sort of fighting, which is regrettable. There's law enforcement that supports this bill.
Supporters say that it's not just the cruelty to animals. They say that the practice of cockfighting often leads to other crimes, other problems in the communities where these matches take place.
You see drug trafficking, small towns, a lot of people gather in them, prostitution comes. It brings with it a tide of related criminal activity.
Grove says Kentucky is only one of 7 states where cockfighting is not a felony offense. In Frankfort, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Joseph Grove says many of their undercover videos show children at events, and he says the bill also says that taking a minor to a cockfighting event will remain a misdemeanor. A bill designed to help victims of crime has cleared another hurdle in Frankfort. Senator Denise Harper Angel says Senate Bill 319 adds more provisions to what was passed 2 years ago. It increases the overall cap for crime victims from $30,000 to $50,000 in compensation. It clarifies who is entitled, including caregivers. It also eliminates the 5-year statute of limitations, which will help in the backlog of rape kits.
I worked with hospitals, Crime Victims Compensation Board, Kentucky sexual assault programs, and just proud of the legislation. It's hopefully going to be my last bill that I pass and help victims of crime.
The bill has bipartisan support and unanimously passed the Senate Judiciary Committee. Chairman Whitney Westerfield commended Harper Angel on her work in standing up for victims of crime in her years of service in the legislature. A bill that could restrict drag shows is moving forward without the word drag in it. The Senate passed SB 147 Wednesday night. The sponsor says it's meant to keep adult businesses away from children. It specifically included drag in a definition of adult cabaret. The new version of the bill takes out the word drag. It now goes to the House. The ACLU is sounding the alarm on a health care bill. SB 239 would protect health care workers who refuse to do procedures for religious reasons. The ACLU says the bill targets LGBTQ people. Sponsors say the bill's focus is worker recruitment and retention. The bill has not made it out of committee. A bill requiring sex offenders to use their real names on social media accounts has passed the Senate and is heading to the House. Senate Bill 249 would prohibit a registered sex offender who was convicted of crimes against children from creating or controlling social media accounts where their full legal name is not prominently displayed. The bill is retroactive, so past offenders would also be subject to its provisions. Congressman Rogers has announced the bipartisan funding bills that will keep the federal government operating. It also includes money for Kentucky. About $86 million is coming to eastern Kentucky, including $3 million to build new homes for survivors of the 2022 flooding. Nearly $21 million is coming to help with water and wastewater treatment facilities in Boyd, Clay, Harlan, Floyd, Lawrence, Martin, and Rowan counties. There's also money for Operation Unite substance abuse programs. $45 million is set aside to start the northern bypass in Pulaski County that will connect the Hal Rogers Parkway to the Louis Nunn Cumberland Parkway. And Kentucky will get about $27 million to help communities impacted by abandoned mines. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office, London Police Department, and Knox County Sheriff's Office are now partners in a drug task force. WYMT's Chandler Wilcox tells us how those agencies have already found success.
It is not uncommon for different law enforcement agencies to have cases that cross into each other's jurisdictions.
A lot of times leads will, where we can get drug buys, will lead us outside of the county, and a lot of times it led to Knox County.
That is why agencies like the Laurel and Knox Sheriff's Offices signed an interlocal agreement to give both organizations jurisdiction in both counties. Laurel County Sheriff's Office Major Robbie Grimes says together the two departments have found success.
It's getting harder to get people to come to Laurel County to sell dope, if you know what I mean. They want to go somewhere else instead of here.
Knox County Sheriff Mike Smith told WYMT that thanks to the partnership, communication is faster. He said, quote, "This allows our departments to exchange information rapidly, as well as combine resources to combat illegal drug trafficking," end quote. Those with the Laurel County Sheriff's Office say they have had a busy last 2 weeks with drug busts. They recently arrested a man who was carrying more than 100 grams of fentanyl.
It's probably one of the biggest fentanyl busts that I can think of here recently.
Grimes says they have caught a combination of drugs.
Meth, we're seeing more fentanyl, obviously, but meth is still one of the biggest drugs that we're seeing right now.
Grimes also says they are in talks with another sheriff's office that may join the task force. He said they are not yet ready to announce who it is. In London, Chandler Wilcox, WYMT Mountain News.
The Laurel County Sheriff's Office has 2 officers dedicated to the task force, along with 2 narcotics detectives that will help out as well. The SAT used to be a 3.5-hour dreaded in-person exam, but now it is fully online. The new online format is not the only big change happening this year. Students will now have access to the calculator for the entire math section. Some educators, though, say accessibility has been an issue with standardized exams like the SAT. That is why the University of Kentucky will not require these exams for admission until at least 2028.
And while there are fee waivers, sometimes the travel to get to a location to take the test can be expensive. But you can also think about individuals who can test multiple times or maybe access more tutoring services.
For now, UK says that GPA is a better indicator of student success. The first online SAT test will take place this Saturday. And thanks to the online format, students will have their scores in a matter of days. And when we return, Wonder Woman and her family announced their 4th child.
And weather-wise, we're tracking more moisture out to the west and southwest. What effect will this have as we head into the weekend? We'll let you know. The First Alert 7-day forecast is Friday morning as we spring ahead through the weekend. Coming up after the break.